Howdy Crystal Conclave, it's NESHY, and welcome back to I'm Not Standing Up, You Are. I didn't feel like sitting down today because we have the Transcendent Crystals buff, baby! We're playing on our phones because apparently the update's only on mobile, so lucky for us, we only play on our phone. So, I'm going to go ahead and show you this cool Rainbow Overdragon OTK deck profile because Rainbow Dragon is back. We can finally gather all 7 Crystal Beasts and resurrect the greatest light in history. But before we do that, you might notice we have 191 gems. I've been trying to pick up a Diamond Direwolf for this deck I'm working on, and I'm even trying to pick up this Levier. So let's see if we can go ahead and pull these 2 cards. I'm just going to buy 3 packs. If we can pull a Levier or a Diamond Direwolf, I would be a happy NESHY. Alright, number 18, that's a pretty good card right there. But we already have like 5 of those. Last pack, what's going to happen? The 3 Karibos showed up. Nothing. Wind up snail. We don't care about that. Alright, that's a bust. But I'm going to go ahead and show you this deck. After I show the deck profile, I'm going to go ahead and showcase some gameplay showing how this deck runs and how it's so much fun resolving rare value. You transcending crystals, some crystals away, rare value, get some free value. We're running 3 Rainbow Dragon because the second and the third put on so much pressure after the first one gets hit by something. It's bound to. 3 Sapphire Pegasus. I could see you cutting it down to 1. I like 3 though because he's our favorite steed. You can play 1 Amber Mammoth, 1 Topaz, 1 Emerald Tortoise, 1 Cobalt Eagle, 1 Amethyst Cat, and 1 Ruby. So these are the 1 of Crystal Beasts. Like I said, you could play even 1 of the Sapphire Pegasus, but I'd still want to play a little bit more Conclave control. You can also play Necro Valley in this deck as well as Raigeki. The idea behind it is just to kind of keep our opponent away from killing us until we can summon a Rainbow Dragon. So Necro Valley and Crystal Raigeki, those are awesome cards to help keep us alive. We have rare value to turbo out these Crystal Beasts and get free value off of them being in the back row. Crystal Bond is a +2 essentially. You put 1 in the back row and add Sapphire Pegasus to hand. Sapphire Pegasus summons. That automatically puts a second one in the back row, enabling our rare value. We have 3 Rainbow Bridge to search for Crystal Bond, Crystal Beacon, or our 3 Crystal Conclave. The best defensive card in the game. You could say Magician's Navigation, Cybernetic Overflow. NESHY, those ones are on the ban list. Of course those are better. Okay, but everyone's just sleeping on Conclave. Well, actually, you know what? Now that, since Conclave isn't on the ban list, it technically means it's better than the other 2, right? Is Navigation even on the ban list? I think so. I think it's limited to 3. I opted for Crystal Beacon instead of Melody of the Awakening Dragon because Crystal Beacon just helps improve our Crystal Beast ceiling. If you open up 2 Crystal Beasts and then Beacon, as long as one of them's not Ruby, what you can do is Transcendent Crystals 2 of them away, put 2 Sapphire Pegasus there, activate Crystal Beacon, summoning out the Ruby, and then that summons out the back row Pegasus. Those can fill up the back row, and then if the last card in your hand is like a rare value, that's so much more value. So that gets us pretty much there to Rainbow Dragon. And I think the best way to showcase how this deck runs is through some of these replays that I have saved up for you. This deck is so much fun. I'm so happy that Rainbow Dragon's back in the metagame. And we're ready to take down some fools. Oh, let me go ahead and show you the extra deck. What's neat about Rainbow Dragon is because it solves Crystal Beast's biggest problem, which is the low damage threshold. We have a hard time dealing with big monsters like Dark Magician, so Rainbow Dragon is just there to stop all the bullies from bullying our little beasts, and he's just like, hey, leave them alone. Even better is if we had Zenith, but a man can dream, right? We have 2 Rainbow Overdragon to enable the OTK. Anything under 2,000, anything under 1,800 and under, we can go ahead and OTK them, because what we do, we summon Rainbow Dragon, tribute it out for Rainbow Overdragon. Overdragon banishes his Crystal Beast Sapphire Pegasus to boost him up to 5,800. So anything 1,800 and below, boom! Even better if we had Zenith, anything 3,000 below, boom! But a man can dream, right? So you don't need to play 2, you only really need to play 1, but 2's nice. 3 if you really want to feel like that. 1 Abyss Dweller, great for the toolbox, Malevolent Sin, Steel Swarm Roach, Gagaga Samurai, and then the 1 rank 3 Ghost Trick Alucard to pop set cards. So I can warrant cutting one of these cards, maybe one of these Overdragons, or one of these Xyzs, whichever one you don't feel like is doing it for you. I feel like these are the most impactful, other than maybe Gaga Samurai, but you really want to have one Levier the Sea Dragon. I can't stress this enough, maybe you even cut the Alucard, because if the biggest weakness behind Rainbow Dragon, if they Cosmic Cyclone or just use Amazoness Onslaught to banish one name, automatically you cannot summon a Rainbow Dragon. It sucks. This deck kind of sucks because of that. I wouldn't take this. I probably would take this to a tournament, but it'd be really funny. But I wouldn't expect to go super far in the tournament. Like I wouldn't win with it. Maybe I would, but the biggest weakness behind this deck is you just banish one name and all of a sudden your whole win condition is out the window. You know, you could just play Conclave Control from there, but without Crystal Power and Blackwing Zephyros the Elite and Neos Fusion, it's kind of hard to close out games. So Levier helps bring back banished beasts, and if your Overdragon banishes a name, to boost it up, you can use Levier to bring it back, which I think is pretty neat. That's a little bit like wishful thinking, but I just don't have Levier, but I think it is definitely a necessary inclusion for this deck as just a way to somehow get access to your name back if one of them gets banished. So that's the deck. I think one thing to note about Gaga Samurai is, I hate this. 2 Sapphire Pegasus plus a Ruby is not game. It leaves them on 100 life points left. Oh my gosh, so annoying, I know, right? But if you overlay both of the Pegasus into Gaga Samurai, you can go ahead and deal 4,100 damage. Because the Gaga Samurai hits twice, leaves him at 200. Ruby, it's her time to shine. Go in for the extra 300 for game. The other thing I was thinking about, cut the Gaga Samurai for the Cowboy. Do you know why? Is because I actually like Cowboy more than Gaga Samurai in this kind of deck where we don't have the luxury of Crystal Power, because when you put 2 Sapphire Pegasuses into your opponent, it leaves them on 400 left. So I'd rather just try and push for that 400 instead of, because when you overlay into an Xyz with Crystal Beast, it's kind of using a lot of resources, right? Even if you just get Sphere Moded, like they don't have any back row, it's like, oh, we're guaranteeing getting a swing for game here. If they have Sphere Mode, like you're still losing out on one of those Sapphire Pegasus bodies. But if you just leave them both up, attack, leave Ruby in defense, because that's another reason we could lose if Ruby's just in attack and they attack over with something big and punches right in the face, then that kind of sucks. So I'd rather just leave Ruby in defense, attack with the 2 Pegasuses, leave them on 400. If they activate a Cosmic Cyclone, then hey, that's the game. But leave them on 400, and the next turn we can go ahead and go for that Cowboy. It's a little less greedy, a little more safe. You know, you do give your opponent another potential turn, but I feel like it's not as greedy that way. I like that more. Obviously, you could play the Samurai too. I know I just talked probably more about Gaga Samurai and Cowboy than any of you have probably heard in your lives. So, or wanted to, for that matter. We're going to go ahead and check out our replays. I have 3 replays to show y'all. I really love the new overlays right here. Whenever I see my opponents and it says lose, you'll lose a rank, I just think, I'm sorry, little one. I kind of like the new life point and the new overlay thing. I'd have to remember what it looked like before. I think it looks better now. It takes a little getting used to. Maybe it just looks better because it's new. So they go ahead and pass turn, which is sweet for us. And then we're going to draw Rainbow Dragon Transcendent Crystals, and they don't scoop here, which is kind of suspicious. So they activate rare value, or we activate rare value rather. And then we're going to go ahead and normal summon a Sapphire Pegasus. We already have 4 names in the graveyard. Sapphire Pegasus is going to use his effect, and that's going to give us an Emerald Tortoise. Do we have 4 names engraved? Oh no, we pitched a Rainbow Dragon, because it's like we'd rather win the game rather than just like keeping Rainbow Dragon in hand. So I'd rather use those Rainbow Dragons, because obviously I'm not going to summon all 3 realistically, but it's good to have all three names, and not the Melody. I do have Melody in my card pool, but it's just like a 4th Rainbow Dragon, and I don't know, I tend to not prefer that. I tend to just prefer the 3 names. I think that's enough. It is nice as a discard outlet though, don't get me wrong. So we're playing against Lunalight here. We're gonna flip up a Conclave. Should have flipped it up in the standby phase, but like, it's kind of hit or miss, kind of 50-50. If your opponent has Hey Trunade, then you get to burn their Trunade because you just flip up both Conclaves. But on the other hand, if they have Night Beam or Galaxy Cyclone, they can just hit your set Conclave and you kind of lose out. So if they have Cosmic Cyclone, then you just SOL either way. But we have the Emerald Tortoise holding up the fort. He's just looking all depressed, you know, like Emerald Tortoise does all the time. They're going to activate a Lunalight Fusion. I opt not to bounce this, just because I figured they'd have enough material anyway. The worst thing that could happen is if they summoned the Saber Dancer, but they didn't, so we're pretty happy about that. They're going to use Emerald's effect to bring back the Crimson Fox. So because of that, it loses its targeting protection. So we could Conclave bounce the Cat Dancer here, but we had double Conclave up anyway, so I didn't care. I'd rather free up our back row, just in case we have like another rare value that we draw into, so we can pitch the Emerald Tortoise and, you know, maybe the Conclave in our hand. But yeah, that's what's sweet about double Conclave. It just pretty much answers anything you want. It files your taxes, it bounces Cat Dancer with Crimson Engrave. It's great. It has super armor. We're gonna go ahead and bounce the Sapphire Pegasus back to our hand though, because it had 0 attack, wasn't really doing much for us anyway, and it's our favorite steed. So we're gonna use its effect, and that's going to bring another Sapphire Pegasus to our back row, and set the Conclave and just pass from there. I don't know what else he could do. Looks like not much. We're going to Conclave, bounce back the yellow, and we're going up against Lunalight, so obviously they're going to have Veils, Sphere Karibos, stuff like that, but we're going to try and push for game here. As you see, we're going for a Beacon. We're calling out our pal, Crystal Beast Ruby Carbuncle. Summoning out the Topaz Tiger, going into Abyss Dweller because that's pretty good against this matchup. Going to use it so that we can put Tiger's name engraved, because when you overlay with Crystal Beast, it deletes their names essentially, it nullifies their names. And we're gonna go ahead and watch this beautiful Rainbow Dragon animation because it's so cool that we get to summon Rainbow Dragon, ain't it? What an awesome monster. The greatest light in history resurrects. Meet the all-powerful Rainbow Dragon. And then you know what happens? Gets hit with a Karibo. At least it's not enemy controller or Sphere Karibo. Man, enemy controller or Sphere Karibo. Did you freak out when we saw that we used Rainbow Dragon's effect? I thought so. You know, it's pretty crazy that we get to. So we're going to use Rainbow Dragon to beat over the Yellow Marten. Gonna try and attack for game. They have a Temperance, they have a Karibo, they're not dying yet. Come on, why can't we just kill them? So, I don't know what else they have here, but we use Dweller so that they can't Yellow Marten. They're going to Lunalight Fusion. Because we control the Abyss Dweller, we don't have an out to Cat Dancer, but we have Rainbow Dragon's effect. So we used all of our Conclaves, we used our XCs. There's no way we can out this Cat Dancer unless we just use Rainbow Dragon's effect. And that pauses us the game. What the... I don't know what happens here, but I watched this replay before and it stopped right here. Apparently it can't handle Rainbow Dragon's effect, but what happens is it puts back all these names so that we can activate Crystal Bond, and then we normal summon Sapphire Pegasus and attack for game. So it's pretty sweet. We don't use the rare value because we really don't need to. But let's move on to replay number 2. So we're playing against a Seto Kaiba. We open up Rainbow Dragon, Sapphire Pegasus, and a Crystal Beacon. So we're going to see what our opponent does here. They're going to normal summon the White Stone and Sage, so that's like full combo for Blue Eyes. So they're going to go ahead and summon out a Blue Eyes from the deck. Oops, didn't mean to skip that animation. That's content right there. But you know what? There's another Blue Eyes coming our way. Let's go, Blue Eyes. The OG Blue Eyes animation. You already know. Blue Eyes White Dragon is going to hit the field. And then, you know what happens? They pass with no back row. Looks like a free Roman for Crystal Beast. Just kidding. Blue Eyes is kind of a big boss against us because 3000 attack, it's kind of a big boss to anyone. But with Crystal Beast in particular, we kind of just sit back. We don't have Zenith, but we have the Rainbow Dragon right there in our hand and in our hearts. So we're going to go ahead and pitch one of them because I don't want it in my heart anymore because it loses to an enemy controller. So I'm going to activate the Crystal Beacon to special summon out the Ruby from our deck. Ruby is going to special summon Sapphire Pegasus from our back row. Ruby Carbuncle's effect activates. I love hearing that. I love that we get to hear that again. You know, playing Conclave Control for so long, man, it feels good to hear that again. And we get access to a Conclave right here. We still get to play Conclave Control and Rainbow Dragon, the best of both worlds. We're going to Xyz summon. What is it? Is it Abyss Dweller or Steel Swarm Roach? It's the Dweller. Realistically, I probably should have summoned the Steel Swarm Roach because the worst that can happen is like they go into a Synchro, but like they normal summon a tuner and then go into the Synchro, but they don't do that, or they do that next turn. I mean, I guess the Steel Swarm Roach would have been better, but yeah, I guess then the worst thing that could happen is they Cards of Constance pitch a White Stone of Ancients, but yeah, probably the Steel Swarm Roach would have been better looking back, but Vermilion Dragon Mech comes out and we get to bounce it with Conclave. So if that was a Dragon Spirit of White, that would have been a little bit different because we wouldn't have been able to bounce that so easily. So I think the Steel Swarm Roach would have been a little better. I know I keep saying that, but honestly, we have a hard time dealing with Dragon Spirit of White. What is that thing called? Spirit White Dragon. Yeah, you know what I mean. We're going to go ahead and Transcendent Crystals these names away so that we have all 7 names necessary after we summon the Amber Mammoth, the Arnold Mammoth. Because when I gather all 7 Crystal Beasts, the greatest lot in history resurrects. Oh, I think this is it. Yeah, that's it. I think that's it. Oh, that's sweet. There we go. There's the Rainbow Dragon right there. See, you could watch the gameplay and watch it on my phone. Which one would you rather see? Oh, yeah, Rainbow Dragon banished his Sapphire Pegasus so that we could deal lethal this turn. So otherwise we could just summon Rainbow Dragon, deal some damage, and then like next turn tribute our crystals and then boost them up to 6,000 attack. But why don't we just go for game? This is called Rainbow Overdragon OTK after all. Let's move on to replay number 3. So we're going up against a Yugi and he just passes turn 1. And we have game right here. I don't know if you see it, but this is game. This is the combo I was talking about. I just wanted to showcase this combo. So it kind of sucks that our opponent didn't open anything. It wasn't like a tier 1 matchup like it was last game against the Blue Eyes. But this one's a little bit more for fun. We summon the Ruby, it's Ruby's time to shine, and she summons out the 2 Sapphire Pegasuses. And they're like, yo, we don't have enough damage, bro. We can't deal 4,000 on our own. There's 2 of us and then 1 of her. If she had 400 attack, man, that would be so much better. If she had just as much attack as a freaking Cyber Dragon core, it would have been game. But she has 300. Come on, Ruby, what are you doing? We're the ones picking up all the slack here. Sure, you summoned us out in the first place, but you know what? NESHY could have done that himself either way. But you know what can happen? We can reach into our extra deck for Xyz monsters. This is something that Jesse didn't have access to when he was playing. So we're going to go ahead and keep using some crystal cards because that's what we do best. After the rare value gives us that crystal bond, we can go ahead and overlay. Oh my gosh, Ruby, I didn't know you can overlay. Thanks for listening to my bad Jesse impression. What are these black cards? What are these colored cards? Uh-oh. But anyway, he's gonna go ahead. When I gather all 7 crystal beasts, the greatest lot in history resurrects. That would be what Jesse would say, wouldn't it? The southernisms. Heck yeah. Rainbow Dragon's beaut, ain't she? Or it could be a he, either way. We're gonna go ahead and attack Rainbow Dragon because most likely it's like Lunalight and they're trying to get into Destiny Draw and they have a Veil in hand. So if you just dish out 4,000 right from the start, then they can't even use the Veil and they're just kind of sad. But he said that was a fantastic duel anyway, so kudos to him for being such a good sport. They duel as hard as I do. Just some final thoughts about this deck though before I head out for the day. I really love this deck. I think it's sweet that we get to play Rainbow Dragon again with Crystal Conclave, just being able to bounce back names other than Crystal Beast, Sapphire, Pegasus, and then pitch them off of Transcendent Crystals is something that Crystal Beasts have never had access to before. Combined with the XC's toolbox, it's pretty sweet. Things are looking up for the Crystal Beasts in the near future. But would I play this competitively? Most likely not. I'm working currently on a competitive version of Crystal Beasts, and there are a lot of different routes you can go. You can go Gravite Crush Dragon, Magna Dragon Zernatron, but I think the best way to run it is just streamlined. My deck's looking about like 25 cards right now, and it's just like Conclave control with the Neosfusion, the Zephyros, because Zephyros with Transcendent Crystals is kinda nuts. If you have just one Zephyros as like, just in a vacuum, you pitch that, you put Sapphire Pegasus in your back row, Zephyros from the graveyard brings back the Pegasus, summons itself, normal summon Pegasus, put another card in the back row, that's like a +2 play right there that you can make into a rank 4, and it's pretty sweet what Crystal Beast can do nowadays. But I won't keep you long for now. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe if you want more of this crystal content coming your way. I have so many ideas for Transcending Crystals because it's Crystal Beast with no brick. That's all you need to know about it. And I'll see y'all in the next video.